What up, YouTube? I am Dom Knight. This is Knight Talks. We're back with another Am I the A-Hole? Make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel for more content. Hit the bell. Trying to hit a goal of 400 subs by the end of February. A big goal with some size. My eyes on the prize. Can't do it without your help. Appreciate you. All right, let's jump right into it. First story. Am I the a-hole for telling my new coworker it was misleading of him to be wearing his wedding band when he's a widower? Hi. A couple weeks ago, we had a new employee hired at the company. He's a good guy and a widower named James, age 36. And to my knowledge, his late wife passed away 8 months ago. Me, female, 32, and the other coworkers got along well with him. However, I noticed that he is still wearing his wedding band on his finger. It kind of confused me a bit, and I couldn't help but bring it up with him while we were on lunch break. We talked, and I pointed out that he was being misleading by still wearing his wedding band when he's a widower. He looked quite bothered by what I said, but I tried to explain that I think that he was giving people the wrong idea or impression about his relationship status. Since he's technically single and on his own right now, I don't want to sound cruel, but I'm speaking from a technical angle. James said that he didn't give it much thought, meaning he don't care what people think, and that even if he wasn't wearing his wedding band and some woman approached him, he'd still turn them down since he's obviously not interested. For some reason, things got awkward and everybody stopped eating and just stared at James and me. I told him, I don't know, but that really felt generally misleading of him, as in making people think he's in a relationship, married, when he is not, regardless of how he felt about being in a relationship. He got upset, called me rude, and said that I repeatedly disrespected his marriage and his late wife's memory with what I said, then took his stuff and walked away. My coworker said regardless of who is right or wrong, though some said he overreacted, there was no reason for me to bring this up in the first place and cause a scene and make James upset with us like that. Now he's not speaking to me and the others who sided with me. Am I the a-hole? Did I overstep or did he overreact? Well, you are the a-hole, okay? And I'm gonna give you a 5 out of 10 on this one, all right? It's a pretty jerky thing to say. First things first, if you knew he was a widower, then why would you say anything at all? He's grieving. She died. It's not like they got a divorce. She died. He lost the love of his life. And you're going to bring that up to him while he's trying to eat lunch? Come on, man. And he told you, hey, I'm not interested in nobody, whatever. Leave it alone. And then you kept picking at him about it. He's not being misleading, okay? In his mind right now, he still feels married. He's had the rug pulled from under him. Hasn't even been a year. Who cares if he wears his wedding band or not? He can wear it as long as he wants. He still loves this woman. When he's ready to get back on the market, I'm sure he'll take it off. But right now, it doesn't matter. Why do you or anyone else care? No one else cares. No one else asks him about it. Are you interested in him? Because, you're saying it's being misleading. He's not misleading anyone. He's not talking to anyone about being in a relationship, so he's not being misleading at all. It sounds like you want him and you're pissed off that he's still carrying a torch for somebody when he should be talking to you or something. I don't know. I just don't get why you would care, why you would bring it up. It's terrible. So yeah, I'm going to give you a 5 out of 10 on the booty scale. You're kind of a butthole here, kind of an a-hole. And I don't blame him if he don't want to talk to you, man. That was kind of rude. Jeez, let the man grieve. This hurts him still. All right? I don't know. Maybe if you got married and your husband died, you'd understand where he's coming from. All right? Okay, next story. All right. Am I the a-hole for giving my sister $13,000 to pay for her IVF cycle without consulting my husband? My female 33-year-old sister has been struggling with infertility for years. She and my brother-in-law resorted to so many options, including trying rounds of IVF. This is costly, so as a result, a number of IVF cycles had cost them a lot, and none of them worked. My sister and brother-in-law were advised to take a break, seeing the physical and emotional and financial toll this is taking on them. But my sister wanted to try it one more time before she enters her mid-30s, where her chances are lower. My parents refused to give her any more money, so she came over to my place where she had a mental breakdown and began begging me to help. I decided to help her out and help pay by pulling $13,000 from my husband and mine's shared account. My husband was out of town for days and didn't go out of my way to tell him after he missed my initial call before going forth and giving my sister the money. I brought it up with him on the phone later, and he blew up at me saying I shouldn't have made such a decision and taken money out of our joint account without consulting him first. But I said I tried calling and you didn't pick up the first time. But he said I still shouldn't have made any moves until I had talked to him first, then said he didn't agree that I gave up a huge sum of money that he worked hard for, given the fact that he contributes 70% to this account, and said I messed up big time. I tried to explain my sister's situation and how this was an emergency, and assured him she'd return the money, but he said no, she won't, since she doesn't even have a job. Same with her husband, and said I shouldn't support their bad decisions to want a baby when they're broke to begin with. I had an argument with him and said he was acting cruel and unsupportive of my family, but he corrected me, saying he's not a doormat and he worked hard for that money, and I had no problem giving it away without even telling him. But that is my sister, and I felt obligated to help out any way that I could. That was the last time we spoke. He demanded I take the money back ASAP, but I haven't responded to him yet. Am I the a-hole or was he? Well, guys, anyone who's watched my channel or been watching any of my advice videos or anything like that, you probably know where I'm gonna go with this one. You are absolutely the a-hole. And out of 10, I'm going to give you an 8. You messed up. There's so many things wrong here. 13 grand? It's not like 1,000 or 2,000. 13 bands? What were you thinking? 13 grand without consulting the guy who primarily makes the money for it. Come on now. Dude. How do you... First of all, this isn't an emergency. You said an emergency. This is not an emergency. An emergency would be if she was in the hospital dying and needed an emergency surgery. That's an emergency. It sounds like your brother-in-law and your sister aren't even ready to be parents. They don't work. How are you going to be parents without money? Your parents already said no to them. So that should have told you something right there. I'm sorry. This is a waste of money. This isn't working. These things aren't guaranteed. I'm sorry, but it looks like they're probably going to have to start looking into adoption. Or something. By now you should have got a surrogate. Shit. How much more money are you going to spend on this? The doctors are telling you, hey, y'all need to take a break from this. You're just, in a nice way, they were telling you you're wasting your time. And you thought this was such an emergency that you needed to take 13 bands out of a shared account without permission and spend it on something that's probably not going to work. Oh, OP, this is not good. This is not good. Your husband has every single right to be as mad as he is. This would be grounds for divorce for some people. Because how are they going to pay you back? They're not going to pay you back. you need to get that money back from them ASAP and put it back in that account. Because right now, your husband has pretty much lost all trust in you. Like, my head would pop if my wife did something like this. You know? Come on. You don't consult with him. I'm sorry. She's gonna have to just come to the reality that, you know, having her own child might not be in her future. But there's plenty of other ways to have a kid. So it's time to start looking into some other methods that might work. And you, my dear, need to get that money back. All right. Next story. Am I the a-hole for grounding my daughter by not bonding with me over gardening? I'm a 47-year-old female. I live with my husband and my youngest daughter, 15-year-old female. My oldest daughter is a 20-year-old female. She no longer lives with us, and I feel a bit lonely since she used to be my partner. We did almost everything together. We liked the same things, and we were best friends. I love my youngest daughter equally. I don't have a favorite child, but it has always been difficult for me to bond with her because we are so different. My youngest daughter clearly prefers my husband, given that, just like my oldest daughter, they are best friends. They do everything together, they like the same things, and they often bond over games, music, and anime. I've tried to bond more deeply with my daughter, but I don't understand her taste. And when we're alone, we hardly ever have anything to talk about. My husband doesn't see it as a problem, and often says each parent with its own daughter. But it doesn't seem right to me. I recently decided to build a garden and asked my daughter to help me, as I often bonded with her sister over gardening. She said no right away, but I forced her anyway. I thought it would be a beautiful afternoon, laughing and chatting, but it was not. She was complaining all the time that the dirt was gross, that the sun was gonna burn her. Every time I turned around, I saw her using her phone. At one point, I got bored with her attitude and said, if you dislike this so much, go and leave your mother alone. She went back in the house. I thought she would come out in a few minutes and apologize and we would start over, just like in the movies. But an hour passed and nothing. I walked into the house and saw her in her room playing on the computer. I got mad and grounded her without games for a week. She wasn't even sorry she left me alone, and she called it a waste of an afternoon, which hurt me. My husband defended her by saying that if I really knew her, I would know that she doesn't like outdoor activities and that I should have tried to bond with her doing something she likes instead of forcing her to do something she doesn't. He also accused me of trying to turn her into a version of her sister and trying to take his daughter away from him. Now they're both against me and giving me the silent treatment. So, am I the a-hole? Well, yes, you are, okay? And out of 10, I'm gonna give you a 7, all right? Maybe that's a little too harsh. I'm gonna give you a 6.5. 6.5 out of 10. First things first. Dude, she told you she didn't want to do it. She said she didn't want to do it, and now you're shocked that she ain't having fun doing it. Just like your husband said, clearly you don't know your daughter, okay? And you're trying to turn her into her sister or into some version of her, okay? That's not who she is. If you want to bond with her, you need to do it over something she likes or something you guys can find a common ground on. All right? This is your kid. Get to know her. Get to know what her interests are. You should be interested in what your kid is interested in. I ain't saying you got to dive in head first, but if your kid likes anime, you should be able to name a couple anime shows. All right? If your kid likes video games, you should be able to name a couple video games. All right? That's just what parents do. Good ones, at least. I mean, hey, you had your daughter. They're both your daughters, obviously, but you had your oldest daughter who was that daughter for you. Unfortunately, she just isn't. And this is your husband's daughter, as far as that daughter. All right, obviously, they're both your kids, but you know what I mean there. it is what it is, honey. You can't force this girl to be your best friend. As long as you guys get along and, you know, everything's cool, it's fine. But not everyone's going to be besties. It is what it is. All right? No big deal. You know, but to ground her because you told her to go inside. So you grounded her for doing what you said to do. Come on, man. You sound silly. I'm going to give your daughter a one butthole, though. One a-hole. Just because she was kind of rude about it. She could have just been like, Mom, please listen. I really don't want to do this. Can we do something else? She was kind of, you know, being a little jerky about it. But she already told you she didn't want to do it. So I'm like, I don't understand how you forced her to do something. She tried it out. She wasn't having a good time. So you tell her to go in the house and she does it. And you ground her. You're not making much sense here, man. So, yeah, you're the a-hole. All right, and your husband, I'm going to give him a 1-2 just because he did say some things I could see as hurtful. But he's right, though, in the grand scheme of things, you know. So, ma'am, you're just going to have to find something you and your daughter can bond over and do that. Clearly, it ain't gardening, okay? All right. Guys, I'm Dom Knight. This is Night Talks. These are always fun. I think I'm going to roll with these for a little bit, see how you guys like them. Guys, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel for more content. Help me hit that goal. I will toss the social medias right there. Follow me on Instagram. And I'll be back Wednesday with a reaction. Peace.
Rack it up, I got a bit of the bank to make me a safe house. Shake it up, she got her hands on her knees and she bringing the cake out. Smoke it up, I got some gas, some packs, I'm up in the greenhouse. Ball it up.